Hi, I'm Monica Teurlings, and thanks for watching Spirit Stories. So today I wanted to take a piece of a reading that I did, and I chose this particular reading because it actually is really clairvoyant. It was a really clairvoyant reading, and I decided to pick a piece of this reading just because it'll give you kind of an idea of really what goes on with clairvoyance for a medium as we're doing a reading, and also how a story can kind of come together through clairvoyance. So it started with a client of mine who was sitting in front of me, and she was from Ireland. And I instantly felt her father with me, and I said, "Your dad's with me." And she says, "Oh, yeah." I said, "So you have a dad that's passed on?" And she says, "Yes." And I said, "He's showing me a tree." And I got this amazing vision of this huge tree in my mind's eye. And I said, "He's showing me this tree." And as I sat for a moment with this tree in my mind, I instantly knew that this tree had to do with the family tradition that they did. And so I instantly said, "I feel like this tree has to do with a tradition that you guys have with your family." And she says, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." I said, "I'm really feeling like you guys plant trees, and I really feel like you each plant your own tree. So each of you have a special tree for yourself." And she says, "Yes, we do. We each get to pick our own tree." And I said, "Oh, okay, wonderful." So I got this feeling through just the vision of the tree that her dad gave me in my mind's eye. So then her dad showed me another vision in my mind, which was multiple trees. So it was a row of trees that I had in my mind's eye. And I said, "Okay, your dad's now giving me multiple trees." And as I'm feeling these trees and I'm kind of sitting with these trees, I instantly knew that these trees moved. And I said, "I'm feeling like these trees move from one location to another." And she says, "Oh, yes, because when we move homes, we take the trees with us because these trees are planted in our homes, on our land. So when we move, we take them with us." And I said, "Okay, that would make sense on why your dad is showing me this." So her dad again showed me another image, so another clairvoyant image, which was multiple trees again in a row. But this one was different because the last tree at the end of the row, he really made me put my attention to. And I instantly felt that tree was different, that this tree was an actual memorial tree. Unlike the others, this one was a memorial tree, and I instantly felt it was for her brother who was in the military. And so I said that to her, and she says, "Oh my gosh, yes, my brother did pass. He was in the military." And I said, "I'm feeling that this tree was an actual memorial tree that was planted on his property for his family." And she said, "Yes, it's actually for his children." And I said, And as I'm feeling back into the first tree again, because her dad gives me the first tree again, as I'm feeling into this tree, I'm really feeling like there was this feeling of why a certain tree was selected. And her dad actually made me feel like his tree was an apple tree. And with that, there was a reason why he picked an apple tree. And so I said this to her, and she says, "Yes, my dad's tree was an apple tree." And I said, "He's giving me this feeling of the reason his picking of an apple tree was because when he passed on, he would be able to still give to his family. And he can do this through the apples on the tree. So you could pick an apple from the tree, and he could still be giving to his family." And God, I just found this to be so emotional. She was so emotional, and she started kind of tearing up, and I'm tearing up. And it was just so beautiful because the love of this dad who had this whole vision, this legacy he wanted for his family, and his reason for him choosing an apple tree was just so emotional and so loving and so generous of his heart. And it really just moved me, and it moved my client as we were talking about this memory. And then her dad gives me this incredible feeling of sadness, and the sadness is just coming over me, and it's overwhelming. And I said, "Your dad is giving me all of this sadness, and it's overwhelming. Like, why am I feeling so sad? It's about the trees, but why am I feeling so sad?" And she starts breaking down in tears, and she says, "The trees are dying, and we don't know what to do. That our trees are dying, and we're so upset about it. We don't know what to do about the trees." And she lost it. I lost it. It was really just a moment, and it really stuck with me, this particular reading. And obviously the reading went on, but this piece of the reading I wanted to share with you because it's really clairvoyant, and and how, you know, a loved one in spirit can give you an image in your mind's eye, and there would be a story behind that. And I just really found that to be just really beautiful, and I wanted to share that with you. And hope you enjoyed the story, and you know, tune in next time for another spirit story with Monica Teurlings. Until then, be well and love and light.